So Joey's arrived, mate. Sidestep all the way back from France, and then via where did he stop off at, mate?
So he flew into Melbourne, and then he stopped over at Twin Hills, Ollie Tate's new farm, and then at Darley and the Hunter, and then up to here. So a long trip, flight from France, quarantine, and then 3 days in a truck to Queensland. So he was pretty happy to get off and stretch his legs, but he's really starting to settle in really well.
Yeah. So mate, are you happy with what you've seen when he arrived?
We are. Yeah. No. So first time up close in the flesh. We saw him at the Darley Stallion parades in the past, and we always liked him as a type. But obviously, you know, when you're heavily invested, you're a bit more critical. So we were twiddling our thumbs, waiting to see him, hoping we'd like what we see, and we're very happy with what we've got. Yeah.
A bit more critical or a bit more biased?
A bit more biased, a bit more biased publicly, and a bit more critical of yourself as you back your own judgment. But yeah, no, we're pretty happy with what we've got.
Yeah. So mate, in terms of numbers, what would be the ideal amount of numbers for him this year?
Look, ideally for us, if we can get sort of between 80 to 100 to him, I think that'd be a success for us. The bookings have been coming in steadily. The support's been probably a little bit better than what we expected, which is great. We're basically halfway there, a bit over halfway there this time of the year, which is pretty good. And there's still a lot of guys that have been hanging out to come see him. So once he gets a few inspections in the flesh, I think those bookings will pick up. So
why do I rotate my horse to Sidestep?
Do you want a 2-year-old champion colt in Australia? Because that's what he is, and that's an important factor to remember. Is that, you know, we want colonial, precocious speed, and he's from a fantastic Woodlands family. I have a massive soft spot for. And he is a champion 2-year-old colt, so he ticks all the boxes for what breeders want, and particularly for what Cutis breeders want.
Yeah, and I think that's the important factor. You know, Cutis, it's such a great bonus in Queensland. 2- and 3-year-olds early, he's going to throw them types for sure. Exactly,
and that's, you know, that's the idea behind why we targeted this horse and why we approached Godolphin to take him on board, because he does fit that model of what Queensland breeding and racing is, which is that precocious early speed that moulds into the Cutis system, which is, I think, arguably the best bonus system for racing in Australia.
Yeah, and mate, being a Darley stallion, obviously he would have been served by a lot of Darley mares in the first year. So he served 134 or something like
134
that.
134 first year, and there are, I think from memory, there's 2 or 3 that Darley 2-year-olds that are non for the slipper. So there are some in those early programs. We've spoken to the pre-training guys and the managers at Darley, and they have very favourable reviews on how they're progressing. It's early stages at the moment, but they have them grouped into their early 2-year-olds, 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds, and these obviously non for the slipper are in that early group. So yeah, fingers crossed he can get a couple on the board for us. Yeah, and just looking behind, like right now, very alert type of horse. He is, yeah. No, he's a character. He's great to deal with. So it's always fun to learn the quirks and eccentricities of a stallion as you get them, because they all have them, no matter where they're from. And so he and I have been getting to know each other and getting along well. Yeah.
So he follows in the footsteps of Written Tycoon, Belle Esprit,
yep,
and amongst others that have been at this property and have done really well.
Yeah, that's right. So I mean, one of the great histories of this property is its beginnings in Noble Park, and Peter Moran stood Success Express, followed on by Mossman, followed on by Love Conquers All. So there's been a style line progressing the whole way through there, which has been great. And then obviously there's been some fantastic stallions stand here in the meantime as well, in Belle Esprit and Written Tycoon. You know, the likes of Capitalist and Winning Rupert were conceived here on the farm while they stood here. So there's definitely a long line of successful stallions to be on this property. Yeah, and if you look through the dam line of this stallion, yeah, you don't get much better. No, it is an absolute blue hen mare, and that's the strong female families make stallions, in my opinion, and consistency is always key. And for any mare to produce 3 group performed colts is almost unheard of. So the ability to tap into a family like that is a big coup for Queensland breeders. Yeah, so 3 colts are actually all at stud as well. That's right. So obviously the genetic ability is there, but also the temperament to breed a racehorse is there, and that's just as important.